Oi, Manny, do I need a miracle today? I've been sitting here on these fakakta bleachers all day, waiting for the guy with the tickets to the Dead show in Vegas. I really want to go see them in Vegas. Not only that, I'm getting cramps from the whitefish I ate this morning at the deli. I tell you, I've been to 350 shows in my time, but I can't wait for the Vegas shows at the Singer Bowl. How about you? You're going, aren't you? You're going to be bringing a lot of people with you, aren't you? Boy, that Jerry, when he plays Doc Star on guitar, I feel my hemorrhoids healing. There's something magical about the way he does it. Come on, tell me straight. You've been following the Dead since they were the Warlocks in 1965. You've been to 450 shows. Oi, Jaime, you're getting on my nerves already. Talking about I need a miracle. The guy will be here with the tickets. And I want you to check them and make sure they ain't counterfeits like the last time. Remember when we tried to see them in Cincinnati in '73? You're always bringing up that Cincinnati gig. Yeah, you're the one that got popped for holding that one. I told you not to be doing that stupid dance. There he is. Hope at last we'll get to see the show. All right, all you scurrilous deadheads, get your asses over here. I have the tickets to the show. Get ready to fork over the money. Well, I got the Loge this time.
Oh, row 27. Seats 36 and 37.
Ah. And the tab of acid we can split between all of us. Boy, this is gonna be quite a show. Deadheads, a breed apart. They will do anything sometimes to procure tickets to the show. Some of them even taking to acts of thievery. Deadheads, desperate for a fix. Desperate to go to the show even if it means standing near the concession stands, doing their hippie dances to Jerry's music. There. Stealing precious items, all in an effort to buy more tickets. Oi, I got the goods now. Let me just open this. This is my deliverance, all right. I'll be able to sell all this loot. What, the Holy Bible? This is as bad as when the Dead toured with Dylan and did all those Jesus songs. What's going on here? Deadheads, even taking to surreptitious entry into places they shouldn't ought to be. Thieving, lying, backsliding, using all means necessary, all means legal and or extra-legal, to gain the cash and or wealth it will take to buy tickets to the next gig, to get a taste of their addiction. The band is their life's blood, their reason for existence on this planet. But sometimes it doesn't work out. Deadheads, a peculiar breed. Many of them merely yuppies. They take great pride in their yuppie, upwardly mobile status. This man, Al Leibowitz, door-to-door Hitachi vibrator salesman. Typical deadhead about town. Well, I got a vibrator for your wife that I think she'll like. I find vibrators rather disgusting. Why? Come on, everybody's using them. This model is the latest. Do you really think it will help my wife attain orgasms such as I haven't been able to give her myself? Why, of course. I'm a coke addict. That is why I'm pointing to my nose. That is why I'm unable to sexually satisfy my wife. Listen, I'm a deadhead. I'm into substance abuse. I'm also a door-to-door Hitachi vibrator salesman. Come with me. Coffee. One of the most despised ingredients in the deadhead's day. They deride anybody into normal passions in life. Themselves hoarding marijuana, cocaine, various psychedelics. But here they disguise themselves at a diner with coffee cups, blending in, so to speak. I've seen the Dead 743 times, I tell you. The time I saw them in Ontario at the hockey rink, they were hot. You wouldn't believe it. They did a 37-minute Dark Star. Jerry even put his guitar strings on upside down to attain some really weird effects. It was so weird, I started projectile vomiting all over the hockey rink. The regular attendants there thought it was hockey pucks going around. It must have been that whitefish that I ate. The thing I love most about the Dead probably is my passion for, I hate to admit, Bobby Weir. Bobby is quite a studly piece of California manhood, and sometimes with my binoculars I just zero in on his crotch area when it starts to bulge, doing some of those blues numbers like the Robert Johnson stuff. I find this particularly disgusting. Well, to each their own. You're not able to satisfy your wife, but I am able to satisfy my own egregious lusts by zeroing in right when the LSD is peaking. I look right at Bobby's crotch. Boy, I tell you, it's a thing of splendor. You guys should try it sometime. Anyways. Oh, excuse me, waitress. Would you like to buy some Dancing Bear t-shirts? How about you, gentlemen? We'll go nicely with the vibrator. And remember, vibrators are very important. I think sometimes that vibrators are a form of prostitution. I mean, you have to pay for batteries and the electric bill. Listen, I'm a deadhead, and I believe in corporate America. Paying for things is good. Aren't the Dead just a big cash box? They're a big money-making machine. I think we all can learn from their ways. Well, as a good yuppie capitalist, I must get myself ready for the gig. You see, I'll blend in once again. I'll drive my Beamer to the parking lot, and I'll change into my tie-dyes when I pull them from the trunk. You know, sometimes I think he's just a drab little pissant, but after all, he's been to 743 shows. That's no small achievement. I can't believe the boys locked me here in the dressing room. They're really mad about me looking at Bob Weir's crotch all the time. How am I going to muffle my pain? This great pain I feel about not being able to see them at the Singer Bowl. Boy, it's 107 degrees out there, and they lock me in here. Just after I deliver them their favorite stash of nitrous, too. Boy, those ingrates. I guess that guy was right about corporate stuff. Well? Oh, a note from Jerry. You're persona non grata. You're not welcome at our shows anymore. And here I've been following them since 1965, Avalon Ballroom. Well, there's only one way to still my pain. I have a good career. I'm a door-to-door Hitachi vibrator salesman. I'm a member of the community. I hate all those new teenaged and prepubescent Dead fans. I've been faithful to them for years, and they lock me in here, right after I bring them their drugs. I'm just going to tie off and find peace, my own way. Ah, this is as good as being at the show. I hear celestial heavenly sound. Either it's Jerry soloing on Dark Star, or the sound of an Hitachi vibrator. Sometimes I can't tell the two apart. They're oh so similar. Maybe that's why I love the Dead. When it comes down to it, they sound like an Hitachi vibrator. Dark Star falling. Good evening, and welcome to Zappa vs. the Dead, America's premier musical talk show, brought to you by the Longines Wittnauer Watch Company of Lima, Ohio. I'm Francis Buford. Tonight, two parents of Grateful Dead members debate media ecologist Marshall McLuhan. Good evening and welcome to Bob Weir's dad. Bob Weir's dad, retired Air Force General. And Pigpen's dad, retired full brush salesman. Also from Toronto, Canada on the dais tonight, most pleased to bring to you Mr. Marshall McLuhan. I feel my son has been unfairly accused of drug abuse. I'm tired of it. My wife is tired of it. Most of our family members are tired of it. We are rich people. We're not like you. We are an elitist breed apart. That is why not many Negroes at the concerts the Grateful Dead do. I want to make this point and hammer it home clearly. As for my son, he gave his life, his very life, for alcohol abuse and rock and roll, trying to blur the distinctions between good musicianship and shoddy, stupid alcoholism. I think he succeeded. My son is a distinguished example of a youth that fell among the Hells Angels and tried to emulate their lifestyle in typical middle-class slumming fashion. I think he deserves plaudits for this. I think your man, Mr. Zappa, is intellectually beyond the reach of most Americans. I feel he's an insult to this great land, whereas the Grateful Dead have continued the work of promoting alcoholism and drug abuse. Gentlemen, let's be clear about a couple of things here. Frank Zappa's guitar style is thick, delicious, and satisfying. It's based on rhythm and blues artists such as Johnny Guitar Watson. It's a thick, satisfying guitar sound. If you listen to certain works like Inca Roads, or Cruisin' for Burgers on the Make a Jazz Noise Here album, or Truck Driver Divorce on You Can't Do That Live on Stage Anymore, Volume 4, I think we'll find a graphic disparity between Zappa's phrasings, Zappa's brilliant musical inventiveness, Zappa's ability to transcend musical categories, combining R&B and classical music, in a cohesive, coherent statement, with Jerry's mere posturing dribblings, Jerry's ineffectual little guitar sound. That is, well, it's a thing that really stands out to me. Zappa is able to make coherent musical statements such as Thingfish, an hour and a half of exploding social archetypes about blacks, AIDS, homosexuality, whereas the Dead just dribble along in their usual fashion. We are rich people. We don't have to make statements. Well, yes, I think, yes, that social elitism that you promote through your son's tie-dyed fascism is something that we need to address here, quite plainly. The Dead seldom jam with people of color. Only within the last 2 years did they get 2 jazz musicians of note, Wynton Marsalis, socially acceptable, and Ornette Coleman, somewhat less socially acceptable, to jam with them, whereas Zappa appeared with Duke Ellington himself at festivals as far back as 1968. Zappa's bands have always promoted black musicians such as Ike Willis, Johnny Guitar Watson, George Duke, in a very creative way. Zappa clearly is somebody that doesn't see a fine line between rock and roll and its exclusion of blacks usually, the exploitation of blacks, the way your band recycles old blues numbers and has Bob Weir say women's when he clearly should be pronouncing it women, coming from Atherton, California, as he does. My son, I must reiterate, died for rock and roll. Rock and roll is the thing that sells beer. Miller beer. Yes, Miller beer is all very well and good, but there's other ways for people to attain some kind of social consciousness. I think the fact that Zappa is a clear social thinker, very cogent, very insightful, has been used against him consistently down through the years, particularly by people like you. You see, everybody wants rock and roll to equal ignorance. Rock and roll equals ignorance. It's supposed to be some backwater slough of beer-guzzling, drugged-out, blissed-out, namby-pamby sheep. Yes, that's what we tried to do. Yeah, clearly you tried to do that. I think that's one of the problems inherent in the Dead's fascistic insistence upon drug use, offering up children as fodder to the police for drug busts, whereas Zappa advocated clear minds, clear thoughts, people educating themselves, people reading the First Amendment, realizing that they had a First Amendment right, whereas most deadheads just gather sheep-like in huge stadia and are overrun by the forces of reaction. I think Zappa was clearly here to debunk the hippie mythology, all its trappings, and also to debunk Republicans such as both of you. I am rich. Did I happen to mention that? Bobby's a good boy. My wife and I put Bobby on the road early to earn money. Bobby at this point is a corporation unto himself. And I think he is clearly able to pull the wool over people's eyes by espousing social causes. Yes, well, social causes usually are a guise for social reactionary people such as yourself.